I've never been violent towards a woman. I would never hit a woman, let alone shoot a woman.
This is Tory Lanez explaining himself, and he may be closer to freedom than the world realizes. Not only him, but Lil Durk is also in a fight that could end with freedom or a life behind bars. Every name on this list is closer to that prison gate, and all of them are about to reshape the entire rap landscape the moment their cases break one way or the other. Fetty Wap, Trap Queen, The Red Dreads, The Patch on the Eye, Brick Squad energy with a melody so smooth your auntie used to sing it. Fetty was the first rapper since the Beatles to chart 3 music debut singles simultaneously in the top 11 of the Billboard Hot 100. Untouchable Run, Untouchable Bag, then the feds touched Music, Him Anyway.
And you said comfortability actually led you to risk all of that.
Comfortability is hood code for couldn't leave the block alone. Even with Grammy nominations Music, sitting on the mantle, Willie Maxwell still felt like a regular dude when he stepped outside. On October 28, 2021, the Fed snatched Fetty in New York behind a major operation moving over 100 kilos of cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, and crack from Music, the West Coast into Jersey and Long Island. Prosecutors said he was helping bankroll and run the trafficking ring. He posted half Music, a milli for bond, but lost it after a threatening FaceTime call popped off. In August 2022, he copped to conspiracy, Music, to distribute. On May 24, 2023, Judge Joanna Seibert dropped a 6-year hammer on him plus 5 music years of paper after. The feds caught him on the way to Rolling Loud, patted him down at the metal detector, and that was it. He didn't even Music fight the case.
Honestly, at the time, it was just like, it was like a really bad time for me at that time.
4 months before that arrest, he had buried his daughter Lauren. Brother was walking around dead inside.
Like, it was already at that point for me. Like, even, like, when it came to the music, like, they talked about me more when I got arrested, more than they did when I was making these #1 charts.
Inside FCI Music, Sandstone in Minnesota, dude switched up the whole script, got his GED, took HVAC courses, told his sister he might just buy a truck and go legit when he came home. His sister wasn't trying to hear none of that. The streets still wanted Fetty the artist, Music, and the feds finally gave him daylight behind Good Behavior and the First Step Act. Fetty walked out early on January 8, 2026, 11 months ahead of his original December Music 2026 date. He's on home confinement in Philly. Paper ends later this year. Welcome home, Zoo. The streets been waiting. Lil Durk. When Smirk Got Music knocked, the whole drill scene froze. OTF General, voice of the streets, big homie to the whole Music Chicago. The feds came in 2024 with paperwork that says he tried to use that same voice to call a hit. On October 24th, Music 2024, the feds grabbed Lil Durk in Florida on federal murder-for-hire charges tied to a 2022 music plot allegedly aimed at Quando Rondo. The attempt didn't catch Quando. It caught his cousin and right-hand Lou P.A.B. Music, P.A.B. died on the spot. The feds say Durk financed the play and used his platform to coordinate it. If they make the case stick, he's looking at the rest of his life. The whole thing goes back to King Von, Durk's right hand, killed outside an Atlanta club in 2020. And Durk has never hid how that loss sits on him.
Shut the fuck up. You weren't there. So you made a diss and said something about Von. That's why.
The feds say that pain is exactly what fueled the 2022 hit attempt. Music, Durk's team says it's nothing but pain talking. He pleaded not guilty. The feds got him sitting in LA Metropolitan Detention Music Center with no bond, denied at least 3 times because they tagged him as a flight risk. Music. He spent months on lockdown in solitary, finally got moved to general population in January 2026. This case is heavy, hundreds of pages of discovery, co-defendants, the feds got lyrics they trying to use as music evidence. They got texts. They got cooperators. Trial dates done flipped from early 2025 to Music, January 2026, then May, then August 20th and 25th, 2026. Music. By May 2026, Durk done sat for more than 500 days. Motions, Music. To separate his case from the co-defendants got denied, so they all going down together. His lawyer's been beating the drum that lyrics ain't confessions, Music, and that the evidence is being stretched thin. The feds keep pushing the gang angle hard. Even from inside, the man been working. Deep thoughts dropped. He been writing Music. Constantly. His people remind everybody about the schools he funded in Chicago, the families he fed, the community music programs nobody talks about on the blogs. The momentum on his side been building. Early 2026 filings hit hard at the credibility of the cooperators. Defense is signaling they bout to attack this lyrical evidence precedent until the wheels fall off. If trial actually pop off in August like the calendar says, Durk could see the back end of this case before 2026 closes out. Verdict, mistrial, or a last-second plea reduction. This ain't just about Durk. This whole case bout to decide if the feds get to keep using rap bars music as confessions in court. Every drill rapper in America got their next verse riding on this verdict. YNW Melly, Murder on My Mind, the song that put him on. The same song the prosecution can't stop bringing up. Melly been sitting in a Florida cell going on 7 years and the case still ain't closed. Jamel Demons got knocked in 2019 for the 2018 double homicide of his day ones, YNW Sockchaser, real name Christopher Thomas Jr., and YNW Juvie, real name Anthony Williams. The state says Melly and YNW Bortland lit them up inside a car, then tried to stage the bodies to make it look like a drive-by. If the state nails him, the death penalty is on the table. The first trial in 2023 ended in a mistrial. The jury couldn't agree on nothing. What was supposed to be a quick retrial turned into years of paperwork and delays, digital evidence fights, calendar conflicts, motions stacked on motions. In January 2026, the state quietly dropped witness tampering, gang, and solicitation charges. The retrial got pushed to January 2027. Bond denied every single time. Even in April 2026, when his team offered house arrest lockdown type, the judge said, "Music, no," citing flight risk. 7 years pre-trial in Broward County, 7 years with no conviction, no verdict, just waiting on a calendar. He skipped hearings. He stood on his innocence the whole stretch, and somehow he still drops music from behind that wall. Melodies that sit in the cut between morning and the middle finger. The defense been switching up strategy. They challenging evidence admissibility harder than ever, pushing speedy trial arguments that should have been granted years ago in any other case. The state still leaning on ballistics, text, music messages, and what they call confessions Melly made right after the bodies dropped. The culture is split down the middle. One side sees a young man caught in a Florida system that wanted to make an example out of him. The other side sees two families that still ain't seen justice for their sons. Both sides got real points. Both sides are probably right at the same time. If January 2027 actually goes down on schedule, Melly could be free by spring of 2027, music, or he could be staring at a death sentence. Ain't no in-between in this case. The stakes is everything. Whatever the jury decides, it's going to shake Florida rap for the next 10 years. Right now, he writes. He waits. Music. Almost 7 years deep with the biggest moment of his whole life still in front of him. Tory Lanez, 3 years in, 17 stab wounds in his side, and dude still claiming he ain't pulled no trigger.
There is definitely a very big misconception about me that seems to the public as I'm this monster.
Daystar Peterson got convicted in December 2022 on 3 felony counts for the 2020 Hollywood Hills shooting that put a bullet in Megan Thee Stallion's foot. Music, assault with a semi-automatic, illegal possession in a vehicle, and discharging with negligence. August 2023, the judge handed him 10 years. He's 3 years into that bid at Music, California Men's Colony.
I think if I would have taken the stand, the verdict would have definitely been very different.
He says not testifying was the biggest mistake of the whole case. His legal team been music, swinging on every angle they got. The appeal got denied in November 2025, but his lawyers turned right around and filed with the California Supreme Music Court in February 2026, claiming newly discovered evidence, including hundreds of pages music of medical records they say were withheld. The court already ruled the surgeon's testimony was more than enough music to prove great bodily injury on Megan.
And we didn't have that chance. Or perhaps we could have questioned the doctors differently when they were on stand to impeach them, because it does look suspicious.
Legal analysts been saying this kind music of appeal is damn near impossible to win. Inside, it's been a war. He been stabbed up bad, almost lost his music life, and yet when they asked him what he'd say to Megan today, his answer caught the whole internet off guard. His team also got paperwork in for a pardon or sentence commutation from Governor Gavin Newsom, who does these reviews twice a year. Parole eligibility hits around 2029 with a full bid ending around 2033. For Tory to come home early, he need clemency or that Supreme Court appeal to land. Both is a stretch, but after surviving 17 stab wounds, long shots are starting to feel music like his lane. Pooh Shiesty. The wave came back and crashed in less than 90 days. Memphis ain't never seen a comeback flip this fast. Lontrell Williams Jr. copped a plea in April 2022 to 1 count of conspiracy to possess firearms in furtherance of a crime of violence behind a 2020 Miami hotel shooting where dude got hit during a robbery attempt. Music. Judge K. Michael Moore gave him 63 months plus 3 years of paper. Wallow from $1 Million Worth of Game said he tried to warn Pooh before the lifestyle caught up with him. By the time he tried to whisper game, the wheels was already turning. Thanks to good behavior, Pooh walked out early on October 7, 2025, 6 months ahead of his original April 2026 date. He hit home confinement, dropped FDO in December, and the streets ate that joint up. Memphis was back. 1017 was rolling again. The wave looked like it was about to be bigger than the first time. Then January 2026 hit and everything changed. The feds say that around January 10, 2026, Pooh Shiesty put together a violent move in Dallas. They claim Pooh Big 30, his pops Lontrell Williams Sr., and 7 others lured Gucci Mane, his head of security, and another associate to a recording studio under the guise of a business meeting about Pooh's contract. Music. The indictment says the crew ran in armed, held everybody at gunpoint with an AK-style rifle, made Gucci sign a release from his 1017 contract, and ran off Music, with jewelry, Rolexes, and cash studio takeover on the man that signed him, on the man that put on for Memphis. Pooh got picked back up in early April 2026. All 9 co-defendants is facing Music, federal conspiracy to commit kidnapping and armed robbery. Each charge carrying potential life. He pleaded not guilty. Judge denied, Music, bond. Trial set for July 6, 2026. The fallout been breezy. Gucci Mane reportedly cut him off in public. Every old quote about loyalty, about not crossing the bridge, all that gets replayed on blogs every other day. The bond between the OG and the protege, the whole foundation of new Memphis trap looking like it's in pieces. What hurts about Pooh's situation is the timing. FDO was charting. The label was repositioning him as the future. 3 months home and it's all gone. If they make this kidnapping charge stick, he's looking at a sentence that could erase his entire prime. If he beats it, he walks back into a game that already buried him once. July 6, 2026. That's the date that decides whether Music Pooh becomes a cautionary tale or one of the hardest comeback stories the genre ever seen. Quando Rondo. The man at the center of every drill war finally close to that gate. Tiquian Bowman copped to conspiracy to possess and distribute marijuana in August 2024. In December 2024, the judge gave Music him 33 months federal, a $400 fine, and 3 years of supervised release. He turned himself in on January 10, 2025 Music, and been at FCI Edgefield in South Carolina ever since. Quando ain't just doing the federal stretch. He's the man at the center of the whole drill beef that put Dirk in handcuffs. Every Dirk update, his name come up. Every King Von tribute, his name come up. He, Music, been carrying that weight in silence the whole bid. Dirk himself addressed the situation when he sat down with the Music $1 Million Boys. That's the question Quando go to sleep with every night. From inside the Fed, scrolling commissary, reading mail from his daughter Italy. His career on pause while the whole rap world keeps spinning. The blessing for Quando is the calendar. Behind Good Behavior and First Step Act credits, his release got moved up from April 20th, 2027 to November 21st, 2026, about 5 months early. That puts him back on the streets in about 6 months from now if nothing flips. He'd been posting prison pics and Music, dropped SRT from inside the wall. Word is his focus done shifted hard to family, especially Music, his daughter, who'd been the heart of his sound forever. When Quando step out in late 2026, Music, he's walking into a culture that's been arguing about him for years. Some fans want him to vanish. Others see a survivor of a situation that targeted him for being in the wrong car, the wrong night. Either side you on, the music he drops in that first Music 6 months home going to be the realest he ever made. Big 30. Memphis, Music. Ride together, Memphis fall together. That been the code between Pooh Shiesty and Big 30 Music, since the day they came up. And right now, both of them eating off the same indictment, same charges, same potential life sentence. Music, Big 30, real name Rodney Lamont Wright Jr., named alongside Pooh and 7 others in the federal indictment tied to the alleged Music, January 2026 Dallas studio incident with Gucci Mane. The charges include conspiracy to commit kidnapping and armed robbery, each carrying life in the feds. He pleaded not guilty. Music. He'd been sitting in federal custody with no bond. Trial date lined up with Pooh's on July 6, 2026. Feds came in court swinging hard, calling him a flight risk and citing alleged 7-figure deal rumors that surfaced in the early Music hearings. This case about to flip everything Big 30 built over the last few years. King of Kill Branch dropped in 2021 with Lil Durk, Future, Quavo, and Moneybagg Yo all on the track list. Memphis had him as one of the next ones up. He had the cosigns. He had the lane now. Everything frozen. Every show cancelled. Every studio session pushed music back indefinitely. Every collab sitting in somebody's hard drive waiting on a jury. His situation, music, tangled up with Pooh's. They came up together. They charted together. They might catch the same music fed time together. The state painting the alleged Dallas move as one organized crew, music, which means if one of them flip on a plea, the whole house of cards shake. Big 30's defense been saying the evidence connecting him directly to the alleged armed takeover is thinner than the prosecution claiming in court. Thinner don't mean nothing though. In music, the feds with charges this serious, thin evidence still send rappers home for decades. July 6, 2026. Music. That's the date Big 30 either walks back to the studio or watches his prime get erased by a federal sentence. Memphis is watching. The whole South is watching and nobody knows which way this thing tips yet. 6ix9ine, the most polarizing rapper in the game, just did 90 days and walked back out the gate like it was nothing. Again, music, Daniel Hernandez, the same Tekashi 6ix9ine, got sentenced in late 2025 to 3 months for supervised release violations including drug possession and an assault incident at a mall. He turned himself in to MDC Brooklyn on January 6, 2026 and was out by early April 2026. When he sat down with DJ Vlad before going in, conversation got straight to it. The whole world wanted to know if a rat catches problems on the inside.
Okay, so now you're going in for 90 days.
Yeah.
His answer was the same one he'd been giving for years.
Generally, when you're in there, do people like, yo, Tekashi, big fan or whatever, or does the whole cooperation thing kind of make people stay away?
Tekashi swears nobody ever stepped to him. No problems, no fades, nothing.
So what I'm trying to say, I'm going to prison with that same mentality, I'm good.
He framed the whole violation as a family-first move. Said the situation that got him locked up was him standing on protecting his people. Max exposure was 5 years with sentencing guidelines saying 3 to 9 months. He got the lowest end, 3 months music, in and out, back on the gram, back on Kick, back making whatever circus the algorithm pay him to make that week. Since he hit the streets in April 2026, he done pivoted hard for music. He'd been streaming heavy. Even said in interviews that he think music done went stale for him at this stage, that's streaming the new bag. Whether you take that as the real plan or as another part of the manufactured chaos depend on how long you've been watching the Tekashi Show. At 30 years old, 6ix9ine done did multiple short bids back to back to back. The pattern is clear as day. Violate, plead out, take the minimum, come home, cause chaos, repeat. Whether the game keep paying for that act is the question nobody really want to answer out loud. Music, Max B. The wave is officially back. After 17 years off the count, Max B finally touched daylight. Charlie Wingate originally caught 75 music years in 2009 for felony murder, kidnapping, and armed robbery behind a 2006 Ford Leaf, New Jersey robbery that ended with an associate dead. 75 years. They tried to give the wave a death sentence. He explained how that whole stretch got chopped down from a phone music interview behind the wall. He went back on post-conviction and started swinging on the original lawyer. Before the courts could rule on the full overturn, he took the deal that ended the whole nightmare. When the courts gave him that daylight, the man said it hit him different. Max B touched the streets on November 9, 2025, music, after roughly 16 to 17 years. He stepped back into a Harlem that had changed up. French, music. Montana, the same little bro he mentored, was there to scoop him. Family was waiting. Everybody that never gave up on him was right there. Within weeks music of touching down, he was in the booth. New music, new projects on the way. The whole wave language he created in the 2000s, the melodic but still street energy that music influenced everybody from Wiz Khalifa to French Montana to half the current Atlanta sound, finally got its founder back in the conversation. His old mixtapes blowing up all over again. Public domain getting discovered by kids that wasn't even born when he first dropped music. The OGs going back through the catalog with new ears, knowing what it took for him to actually walk out alive. At 47, Max B ain't trying to compete with the youngins. Music. He just trying to remind everybody where the sound came from. 17 years was supposed to bury his name. Instead, it turned him into untouchable legend status. YFN Lucci. The Atlanta homecoming the streets didn't see coming this early. YFN Lucci, real name Rayshawn Lamar Bennett, walked out on parole on January 31, 2025, after about 4 years on RICO and gang-related charges in the Fulton County megacase. His paper runs until 2031 with strict conditions, including restrictions on where he can live and travel. His plea deal closed out one of the biggest rap-adjacent RICO sweeps Atlanta ever seen. While Young Thug and YSL was still in the middle of their fight, Lucci took the deal, did his music time, and was home earlier than anybody expected. His return to the A was a moment. Family reunions, studio sessions within days of touching down, a welcome home concert reportedly being planned for State Farm Arena. He dropped Already Legend, an album leaning into reflection, redemption, and the version of himself shaped by 4 years away from the spotlight. What separates Lucci from almost everybody else on this list is he already a year deep into freedom. He living it. He recording. He testing the limits of what a parole-restricted career can look like in 2026. Every move he may get watched, but so far every move been calculated. His sound switched up. The melodic Atlanta street energy that defined the old Lucci catalog still there, but the writing got way more weight now. Lines about his daughter, about his mama, about the homies that didn't make it through the same case. That's the YFN Lucci of 2026. Under his parole, he got to live with his mother. He can't leave the state without special permission. Music. He under regular check-ins until 2031. That's a heavy structure for a rapper whose money is in touring and collabs. But Lucci playing it smart, leaning into the conditions instead of fighting them in public. His comeback ain't loud. It ain't a viral spectacle. It's quiet, brick by brick rebuilding. 4 years in didn't end YFN Lucci, it rewrote him. And the whole A is locked in to see which version of him stays for the long run. The next 12 months in this rap game about to look completely different than the last 12. Mark the music dates, lock in. The waves coming back and the ones already out here just getting started. Hit subscribe, drop a comment with who you most ready to see touch down, and stay tuned cause the streets always got more.